Blue Lock follows the story of Isagi Yoichi. He is a high school football player who has no ego. His team ends up losing the prefectural tournament final because he decides to pass the ball instead of shooting. Even though his team lost, Isagi is summoned to the Japanese Football Union, where he is one of 300 strikers confined at a football training facility called Blue Lock. The training facility is directed by coach Jinpaki Igo. It is sort of a survival boot camp for the sole purpose of developing the ultimate striker for the Japanese national team. The winner becomes the team's starting striker, and the rest are banned from ever playing for the national team. These are the stakes that fuel the intense competition within the facility. The winners are decided by Igo's biased ranking system. Ranking in this program can rise or fall over time, bringing visible rewards such as better food and, most importantly, a step closer to becoming the forward for Japan's national team. For Igo, the main purpose of the Blue Lock facility is to break away from Japanese loser football. With it, he wants to challenge the present culture of teamwork in the Japanese football team, which he believes is the cause for the less than stellar performances they have been having. This culture of cooperation is actually very important to Japan, and it even has a name for it, wa, or harmony, which prioritizes cooperation and collective success over individual accomplishments. Within the Blue Lock system though, personal glory takes precedence over teamwork, so much so that a self-scored goal is more important than winning as a team. When Isagi starts out in this facility, he is the second lowest ranked player, at number 299, but through the facility's competitive environment, he eventually makes his way up to being one of the top players. Blue Lock, in this way, perfectly captures what Nietzsche loves about ancient Greek culture.
Verhasst ist mir das Folgen und das Führen. Gehorchen!
Eris was a Greek goddess and the sister of the god of war, Ares. She was a personified spirit of strife, discord, contention, and rivalry. Hesiod describes two personifications of Eris. One is responsible for war and destruction, while the other is responsible for competitiveness and ambition. For Nietzsche, much of the success of Greek civilization can be attributed to the second Eris. He believes that Greek culture, with its festivals, sports contests, wrestling matches, and dramatic and artistic competitions, was built around this drive for ambition. For him, Eris usually manifests as jealousy, resentment, and envy. But although we usually see these as negative emotions, the good version of Eris can transform these emotions to ambition. So while the internal emotion might manifest as jealousy, resentment, and envy, with the blessing of the right goddess, it will externally manifest as ambition and a will to improve. This is the drive that rouses even the helpless man to work. He believes that this drive not only motivates athletes, but also individuals in fields we don't usually associate with competition, like artists, statesmen, and even philosophers, to become better. So, when the envious person comes across another person who is better, two instincts manifest in them: the instinct to push down and the instinct to rise up. The instinct that is chosen here determines the quality of the individual and by extension the culture. In Blue Lock, we see these two manifestations in Kuon and Isagi. In the first selection, a tournament is played with 5 teams: Team V, Team W, Team X, Team Y, and Team Z. In this tournament, only the top 2 teams will advance. Additionally, Igo explains that the leading scorers from the eliminated team will also advance. So even if your team loses, if you're the highest scorer, you will go through. This naturally causes infighting within the teams. These tough conditions motivate some players to rise up, one of them being Isagi, who by being put in this situation of struggle discovers his strength of spatial awareness, off-the-ball movement, and direct shots. Later on, when Isagi overtakes the highly egoistic Baro, a similar transformation occurs. In this state of despair, where Baro is no longer the best player on the field, he's impelled to rise up and chop past 3 players. However, this rule also motivates some players to push down. Before an important match with Team W, Kwon arrives late to Team Z's strategy meeting. During the game, Team Z takes a 3-0 lead with a hat-trick by Kwon, but he then sabotages the team and blows the lead. We soon learn that Kwon made a deal with Team W that lets him become Team Z's leading goal scorer in exchange for giving away his team's strategy. Here Kwon betrays and pushes down the other players to elevate his rank. I want to end this video by giving a real-life example of Eris's power. This is what happened when her light shone on UFC fighter Alex Pereira. This happened when Israel Adesanya challenged him.
There is a video of an interview with Israel Adesanya that motivated me so much.
At the end of the day, no one knows who the f he is, and he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about I beat that guy one time, trying to get it sucked from a crack or shit.
I felt challenged.
If Izzy just shut up, he would have stayed where he was.
Hello guys, now it's official. UFC, thank you. I'm so happy to be part of the family.
And this is how his UFC journey went.